with all the ridiculous monitoring on here now. But I am going to take this opportunity to try to, as vaguely as possible, hint towards what I'm going to talk about more on my private Patreon videos. If you'd like to subscribe to Patreon, go to patreon.com/Naomi Tarot. Take the initiative, take the passion and the fire within you, take the inspiration within you. The Ace of Wands is the first card out before I did this video. Take that inspiration and insight to take the initiative and subscribe to my Patreon for the current events tier. It's only $2 a month. The reason that's so cheap is I think it's very important to get information out to you guys if you haven't read or heard other resources that I have access to, or you haven't educated yourself about these other resources I share information on. Go to Patreon, current events, and definitely get that subscription if you're interested. Because I'm not going to go into detail on here because I can't, unfortunately, because of the way YouTube is, but I'm going to glaze over it in coded messages if you guys can understand. So wakey, wakey, it's time to wake up if you have not already. And the door is about to shut. I already have a video on this in one aspect about the environmental perspective in the world, because yes, it is true that the environment is going down the tubes. No, that is not a conspiracy theory or just a liberal talking point. And I explain more of that on Patreon, but I'm going to go into more of the spiritual perspective of why the door is also closing on that. So if you really are, the reason why I don't think people should politicize things so much is because both the right and the left are actually correct. The truth lies somewhere in the middle of the two of them. And it's not about picking sides. It's about being able to discern between all the bullshit you're given on either side of what the truth is. Without being blunt, because I'm going to be very blunt on the Patreon video, there are a such thing as demonic or negative spiritual entities in this world. And these entities have influenced or controlled or had some type of level of influence over those in power. I'm not going to name names again because this is a public video. And a lot of the motivation for things going on right now is money. It's not for you, it's for money, right? I got to be very vague. I hope you guys can read between the lines. The main thing that keeps being talked about on the news right now, the main thing that keeps being thrown in our face right now, that we're pressured into right now, it has to do with money. Okay? That's what it all comes down to. It has to do with money. How can you love others, but most of all, love yourself first? What is the most loving decision to make for yourself right now in your life? Think about it. You're being asked to make a decision, but you're also being backed into a corner. Think long and hard before you make a decision about your life. Think long and hard before you make a decision about your life. And this filters into the collective and what's going to occur in the time continuum to the collective, because we are all participating in this and what happens going forward to our world. And if you noticed, I have wake up written on the title with the all-seeing eye. If you catch my drift, what this video is about. Because the jinn, the demons, the archons, whatever you want to call them, the negative low vibrational entities that have influenced those in power in this world are not going to just give up that easily. The lust for control, for power, for greed, for money is not going to give up that easily. And you need to get very clear in thinking, very clear with the Four of Swords of what you want to do with your body, of what kind of control you want over it, what you feel most comfortable with, and be okay with that decision because you chose to. Not because somebody else told you to. And I'm pro-choice in all aspects of life, if you catch my drift. I'm not telling you guys to be, but I'm speaking from that type of worldview and philosophy in all aspects of life, not just with women, if you catch my drift. So I feel like this is very urgent to put this message out here because I feel like people really need to, I'm taking on a different deck because you can see these better. People really need to consider things more than they are. You need to go into this decision, which you're being asked to do with your body without me saying what it is. You know what it is, unless you've been living under a rock, very carefully. What do you feel most comfortable with? Not what does everybody else tell you to do? What is the news pressuring you to do? What do you feel comfortable with? And I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to be liable for that. And it's not my responsibility to tell you what to do, but I can say think long and hard. Because going forward in your future, the new beginning that you go upon with the Fool is going to be affected by how well you use your intuition in making decisions right now. What do you support? What do you buy into? What do you feed into? Because your participation in the collective, your participation in your individual life and what you choose for your individual life will affect the collective and what happens with the collective. We have the most control over our own lives, but the control that we demonstrate over our own life also affects the collective. So like I said, if you hear groaning in the background, that's my relative's dog. She's a very mouthy Jack Russell that grumbles all the time. I don't know if that picked it up. She's always got a sassy, annoyed attitude. When she adjusts her sleeping arrangements, when she's tired, she groans. Sounds like an old man or old lady, but she's only like, I think she's going on 5 years old. She's not even that old. But intuitively decide what is the most logical, what's the thing you're most comfortable with, taking out one side. Listen to both sides. Remember, the truth lies in the middle somewhere between the right and the left. The truth is in the middle. It's not right. It's not left. It's in the middle. Educate yourself about both arguments on both sides. And I'm going to, if you don't have the access to those resources, I'm going to put them on Patreon. It takes a very strong person to either go the way that people say might be dangerous or to go the way that they feel most comfortable with despite what everybody else said. It takes a very strong person, Queen of Wands, King of Wands, to do that. Walking away sometimes from others or other experiences that you've been told are good and going in a different direction and holding on and, maybe waiting before moving forward and manifesting your own reality by using your own intuition and your own strength can help lead you to better peace of mind and calmer waters. Whatever decision it is for you that's going to lead you to this calm water state of mind is really clearly up to you. But I want everybody to be informed as to what both sides are saying, because we're really only being shown one side, if you catch my drift. If you turn on the television and you look at what we're being asked to do with our bodies without me saying it, you're only being shown one side. I'm going to show you the other side on Patreon. No, I'm not telling you what to do on Patreon. No, I'm not telling you what to do on here. But I'm going to show you the other side. So if you're interested in that, go to my Patreon. I'm going to do that sometime today. It'll be up on the channel sometime today. I can't guarantee when it'll be today. There's already a video up there about the environment, but I'm going to do with our bodies right now. So that's going to be a different perspective on things. So this peace of mind, this calm feeling, the Six of Swords, this calmer waters feeling could literally talk about a geographic move, but it also can talk about a move of your mind, a move of your decisions, a move of a choice that makes you feel most rested, at peace. But how do you make an informed decision if you're only being shown one side of things? How do you make the most stable, comfortable decision for yourself going forward into the future if you're being showed skewed information that is biased? By looking at both sides, taking into account both sides, and then making the most educated, informed decision for yourself. That's how. By reflecting, not just jumping. by making the most loving decision for yourself, first and foremost, and then others. The one that you feel most happy and comfortable with. Because these people who are pushing you to do this thing with your body, the way that they feel is, this is your only choice. This is your only choice to get out of this drowning, to get out of this feeling of helplessness. This is your only choice. They're giving you one choice. But is there only one choice? Are you being led to worry, fear, despair? Are you being led to feel like that this is the only thing that's going to work for you? Frustration? Wanting to get your life back? Loss of this past year and the year before? Pain? Is this all you're being shown? Pain, loss, frustration, fear. You have to question why that's all you're being shown. Why are you all only being shown anxiety and worry, pain, frustration, and loss? Very low vibrational, negative feelings you're being bombarded by. Why? Where has hope gone? Where has the hope of the fool who always took chances and went on to new beginnings and believed in rebirths and new beginnings and believed in, that things are stable, that there is stability, that there is a chance to move towards your highest and brightest dreams, the Chariot towards the Ace of Pentacles, that there is a chance for that. Where did critical thinking go? King of Swords. I think a lot of people need to start doing this. King and Queen of Swords, critical thinking. Where did this go? Because it's getting lost to a lot of society right now. And the more it dissipates and the more the King of Swords and Queen of Swords to call out bullshit and call it what it is disappears, the more this cult gains control and can use the law to take control. Can come rushing in and say, oh, we'll bring you stability again. We'll take care of you. We have the answer, the only solution, the final solution. The wording of what they've used to describe their solutions for everybody sounds eerily similar to an event that happened around the 1940s to a large portion of people who were killed for their religious beliefs and also in part their ethnic background. Sounds eerily similar, doesn't it? If you choose to walk away from this paradigm, life may be difficult to some degree at first. Thank you for commenting, Joanna. They're trying to convince us that they are now our only hope. They want us to depend on them. History is repeating itself. Absolutely. This is what this is. It's a mass ideological control through mass ideologies that are not always factually 100% true, and a fear mongering to gain everybody under the thumb of this cult. And the cult, by the way, comes from several perversions of organized religions, not just one religion. There are some people who like to speak very negatively about one religion in particular, and it is not just one religion. It's multiple religions and their perverse interpretation, and I talk about that as well on Patreon. I'll mention that in the video I'm going to do. I'm not going to say it on here. So if you choose to walk away from this paradigm and what you're being asked to do, it's a personal choice. Again, I can't say whether you should do it or not. If you choose to walk away from this paradigm, life isn't going to be easy at first, right? You're going to feel like people are trying to get you at all sides, but is this the most loving choice to make for yourself? That's what you have to question. Are you going to go forward with your idea or others' ideas and what they've told you? What is the most, again, loving thing you can do for yourself? Where is Where's the love? That's a song from the Black Eyed Peas. It sounds so corny. I just thought of that. But where is the love? Where's the love? Where is the most loving choice? What's the most loving thing you can do for yourself? Because if you can't love and help yourself first and foremost, how are you going to do that for others? So yes, this does have to be a selfish decision to some degree. No, it doesn't mean that, oh, you're so selfish for not doing this to your body, what everybody's been telling you to. Oh, look at you doing to other people. Don't buy into the peer pressure. Don't buy into the BS. This is your decision and your decision alone. If you truly believe, if you don't believe, if you're not pro-choice for women, I'm not telling you to be. You're entitled to your own political views. I happen to be, but that includes everybody, not just women. That includes everybody. If you truly believe that people should have agencies over their bodies, then in all aspects, people have agency over their bodies in all aspects. So if you choose to or choose not to, it's your choice. That's my personal opinion, but this resonates on a spiritual level too. You have agency and authority over your body, your mind, and your soul. And this applies to the situation that we are dealing with. This applies to the situation right now. What is the most kind and loving thing you can do for yourself? If it's to bow into the pressure and go ahead and do it and you feel okay with that, do it. If it's not, don't do it. But that's the point. But I will say that this cult, that these entities who are influencing things are much more likely to want you to bow into the pressure than not. Much more likely. Doesn't mean you're a bad person for doing that. No. Would I tell you not to? No. But they're much more likely. Just look at the narrative we're being shown. We're going into this brave new world and this change and this new beginning, this Hierophant, we're manifesting this thing. We're doing this together. We're all in this together. Let's plan a brave new world and reset together. Let's charge ahead towards it. Let's go. Come on. We're on our way. But I will just want you to consider, anybody watching this, have you really thought about this just personally in your life, what you feel comfortable with? Because we also have to think about why certain groups of people are being asked to do this to their bodies first. I mean, has anybody noticed that POC have been asked to do this more quickly than everybody else? I mean, the justification for that, what most people hear at face value, is because we're bringing justice to POC. Look up POC if you don't know what that acronym means. I don't want to be too explicit on this video. I'm being very careful with how I'm saying this because it's a public video. Why are POC being put in the front of the line for this? I would like to think, oh yeah, it's because justice, whatever. But if we believe in true equality, then everybody should be equal. It shouldn't be one person put in front of the other. But this is not really the reason why. If it is observed, what is really behind this cult? What is behind these entities that are influencing everybody who's in power in the world, or not everybody, most people in power in the world? If they don't care about people's well-being, and that's not what this is for. Remember, the first card that came out was the Pentacles card, the King of Pentacles. Why would POC go at the front of the line for being asked to do this to their bodies? Why would they be put in the front of the line? Just think about that a little bit. Because there have been historical events with POC where it wasn't so good when they were asked to put other things in their bodies. Didn't turn out so good. There's not a good positive history of it. So again, this is something that needs to be questioned and considered. Because part of this intention for this resetted world in the future, as one of these elites in power so famously said, was to get the population down, right? Was to lower the population. So how exactly was that going to be achieved? That's what people need to think about, okay? Balance, justice. There's always one side and another side. It's never just the story you're always being told. Yes, we do have hope for the future. We do. There is still hope. The door is fast closing. It's quickly closing. And we need to use our intuition and discernment with this. Love for the self, love for others in making the decision. Love for the self, love for others in making this decision. King and Queen of Swords. Get clear within yourself. Do you feel even over 70% right about doing this to your body? Yes or no? If you can't say yes to that question, and you have a visceral gut instinct, or maybe you have a voice in your head that's saying no. Maybe you just keep pausing and changing your mind. Maybe you're having bad dreams. Maybe you're waking up in the middle of the night and you can't understand why. Well, there could be a reason for that. This is for those people who maybe are having those difficulties. The divine brings things in the timing that we are in need. Nothing will come before we are prepared, nor leave too early. You can always say a prayer that says, "Dear God, dear Goddess, may I trust your perfect and holy timing, and what is right for me will come to me. Dear God, dear Goddess." That is a positive prayer you can say for the situation, because it can help you in making this decision. Again, I can't tell you what to do, but I can say that when something is pushed over and over and over again, and we are not being given a different perspective, and other alternatives were shut down immediately when those alternatives were around for nearly 65 years, we need to question why that is. And the alternatives, FYI, if you hadn't remembered, were in the news, I believe, about a year ago, saying that they were the solution to the situation the world has been in for over a year. There was an alternative thing that could have been used. I can't say it on this channel. You can figure it out if you know what this is about. And it was shut down. And you know what? That alternative has been around 65 years and in widespread use in the world. Yet all of a sudden, it is so dangerous. So we need to think about that. We need to think about why that is. We need to think about why we're being told that something that hasn't been around for 65 years is suddenly safer, and learn to critically think. That's all I have to say. I'm going to go on Patreon to do this video more explicitly. I had to be very careful how I said things here. Thank you, everybody, for not commenting what you figured out I'm probably saying, because YouTube, as you know, likes to take away people's right to say things. So, and you know, YouTube, I don't think necessarily works for the federal government. So they do technically have a right to do that. Freedom of speech is meaning the government can't make something illegal, but if it's a private company, they can remove people for saying things on it. So unless YouTube is directly affiliated with the government, they do have every right to do what they're doing. Do I agree with it? No, but do they have every right? Yes. So it may be a weight on your shoulders that you've been carrying in this decision. Maybe something that a lot of you have been thinking about who will watch this, and you've been wondering what to do. But all I can say is, though there is fear, there is worry, there is concern, the right decision will come to you, and it's the decision that makes you feel most at peace. That's the decision that's right for you, not the one you're told, not the one that you think you should or shouldn't do, the one that gives you the most inner peace and stability. And that's the right decision for you. So I'll continue this on Patreon. Again, it'll be uploaded sometime today or tonight. And I'll have articles and sources on Patreon as well. Thank you for watching. Go to naomitarot.com if you'd like private readings. Bye-bye.